All right, let's divert a little bit from the stock talk and look at the election and also betting markets, as well as some big legal developments at Kalshi. Joining us, Tarek Mansour is the CEO and co-founder at Kalshi, back with us. For those who missed the market overtime, go and watch it. Tarek, great to have you back on the Schwab Network.
Thanks for having me, Oliver.
Hey,
Happy to be here.
Congrats as well. A big development as you guys did get a district court ruling in your favor that you can list the election betting possibilities. Tell me what that means to you, as this is obviously a huge market that I would think probably becomes, I don't know, your most popular now?
I mean, absolutely. The election market is massive. We've always said this. When we started the company, and I kind of talked about this at the time. In 2016, we had the idea for the company. I think a big thing that was happening this summer, I was working at Goldman Sachs actually, is a lot of investors, whether it's individuals, retail, or institutional investors, they wanted to get a position on the election or hedge against the election. Election is massive. It impacts everybody. I think it's the holy grail for prediction markets. So yes, absolutely. I think elections will change everything. I think the last thing I'll say is actually, this will be, this court ruling, this Kalshi victory in courts against the government is a critical milestone for financial markets, because it's actually the first time in 100 years that these election markets are back to being legal in the United States.
Okay, so remind us again the difference between the way you guys run your business and some of the other betting markets that are out there. You're CFTC regulated, which is completely unique. And so when we look at some of the other sites that have had these betting markets, why did you have to go through this process?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think the easiest analogy is like, look, we are regulated, we are legal, we operate legally within the United States and all 50 states. And, there's always sort of bad actors and people that operate outside of the bounds of the law. And that's always been the case. And the reason they do that is because this market has a lot of demand. And so what has happened in the last 100 years is that the demand for these types of markets has gone offshore, unregulated products, platforms operating illegally. But this court ruling now is going to bring it all back under the regulatory umbrella. And so our approach has always been, do it regulated, do it safe, do it trusted. And the reason for that is, one, we believe prediction markets are going to be the next frontier of financial markets. This is the next big thing. It's becoming abundantly clear. And two, financial markets need to be done legally and in a regulated way to build trust. I have not seen an example of a large-scale financial market that is done in a shady, sort of murky territory. So legal and regulated first. That's our motto.
And what type of visibility do you have into who's trading? Are there any strings attached to where you need to monitor, like what's going on? Like if there's any, big players, or are there any stipulations now to monitoring what happens in that pool?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, I think absolutely. I mean, I think as a regulated exchange, it's like trading on stocks or trading on options or any other financial instrument. We know who the traders are. They have to, do what we call know your customer. So to submit their information when they onboard to the exchange, and then we monitor their trading as it goes. The amazing thing about these markets is, as they get very liquid, and they're already very liquid on Kalshi, within I think now 2 days of trading, is they become an incredible gauge of who's going to win the election. It's actually the most accurate way to forecast the election. And funnily enough, actually, the odds right now are right at 50-50 between Trump and Kamala. We'll see how that evolves over the next month.
I'm looking at it right now. As you guys got this up quick, obviously you were ready to roll with it now at the top of your guys' page. 51 Kamala right now, 49 Trump, and it seems like you're picking up a good bit of volume. What are you seeing, Tarek? Like, are people storming to this, or as the liquidity fills up, will that change at all kind of the dynamics of the polling?
Yeah, no, I think we're seeing an incredible amount of signups, incredible amount of deposits. Right now, we're just essentially in the phase of onboarding the customers. As a regulated exchange, it takes a little bit of time, but this has been sort of a massive milestone for the company. And I would say, I think people are going to look back and see it as a massive milestone for financial markets.
You guys do it as binary contracts, and you've got a lot of iterations. You've got different states you can bet on. You've got the popular vote you can bet on. Are you seeing anything in particular that stands out, like any anomalies? Is there anything in your polling or your data that stands out that we should be aware of?
So right now, actually, it's kind of calm season right now. Actually, it seems like things have tapered. There's been some jousting from both camps, and then sort of there's a little bit of a pause, a wait and see. I'm just looking forward for next 2 weeks. I think the October surprise is going to land, and I think markets are going to move. I mean, market volatility is going to skyrocket when the October surprise lands. I mean, if it lands, but it usually does land. Right now I think the one last thing. So the one thing to watch right now is obviously Pennsylvania. It looks like early voting is started, and things are starting to move. So I'd say the Pennsylvania market is the one to watch on Kalshi. It's moving, it's volatile, and Trump and Kamala are neck and neck, and a lot of people are saying that this is the one that determines the election.
Interesting, I like that. Hey, not to I don't know how much you know about how the other competitors, if you call them that, trade. We saw pretty big movers has moved too much. Can you speak generally at all about the process or the structure behind your markets versus others?
Yeah, so I mean, play market falls under the unregulated bucket, and so that doesn't come with some of the checks and balances that a regulated exchange would come with. I think it's interesting. I don't know. It seems like there's some sort of it's interesting. I don't know why the odds are inflated that way, but it's clear that they're inflated. I don't think they're correct, and maybe a lack of liquidity, maybe some sort of scheme happening on the product. But this is the difference between a regulated and unregulated product. On an unregulated product, any of these schemes cannot happen. But I think right now, it's fair to say that it's really kind of at the dot 50-50.
Okay. Well, you guys are loaded up right now. You've got all the big states. You've got margin of victory, a betting market. So it's certainly going to be quite a bit of action. Congrats, Tarek. Thanks for giving us the latest. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Oliver.
Absolutely. Good stuff, and we'll be watching the numbers. Also, of course, some disclosure as Charles Schwab, the parent company of this network, is an investor in Kalshi. Tarek Mansour, CEO and co-founder at Kalshi.